You're so reliant on the Nautilus to get into that fight. I mean, depth charge should never knock up anybody the entire game, right? That's the assumption that Tong Yuan is operating on. Just keep this Sivir safe.
Yeah, absolutely. Potential gank right here. Junjia gonna come on in.
Oh,
no.
YCX goes through the magical journey and finds himself face-to-face with Junjia, who will happily pick up a freebie. Participate in said party. Hong is still level 5. Junjia in the same category. YCX kind of leading their charge forward here. Gets the electrocute proc on a Vampire.
Stun.
Gets the stun into the wall as well. Hong is in range. Does not win the smite fight. It goes the way of Junjia. But what about the follow-up fight? Damage still getting pumped into Vampire. He's at about half HP.
No.
Mega Inferno Bomb comes over the wall. Xiaoyu going to be able to shield it, but it gets thrown back in by the
tower. And with the grubs, LGD do take them slightly faster, but you're losing out onto tower plating mid lane. You're losing out onto tower plating bot lane. And this is a problem we've been seeing out of LGD. It wasn't exposed by the likes of the weaker teams like AL, but JDG are just using the macro decisions of LGD against them.
Oh, Hongyu taking some turret shots there. I don't think it's going to make a difference, and he will have the execute to pick up first turret. Will be traded by LGD in pretty short order, though. That's the power of the Ziggs. Is the difference between stop the stacking from JDG as soon as they can and keep Xiaoyu safe in this fight. Here's the first test of how well these teams are going to interact in the team fights. YCX going to get caught out on the side, gets hooked on in, but Hong just going to take that as an opportunity to engage on the Vampire. Sasa basically one-shots him as Xiaoshu pulls Hong out to safety, but Tempered Fate connects on it too. Xiaoshu forced to jump back away. Sasa falling lower and lower, able to get away, but Junjia chomps down onto him, and somehow Xiaoyu is cut off from the rest of the team and gets chomped down the very same. LGD lose 2 members in trade for Vampire.
And they're able to pick themselves up. The Dragon as well are LGD and maybe could get a pick onto Gala. Yep, that's just going to be the Dark Binding. Goodbye to him. And so that ends up actually being a 2-for-2 overall. They're going to be able to step up to save this tower, though. Tango on the sides, yes.
Tong Yuan feeling safe here. Oh, the non-bow as Satchel Charge pushes both members out of the way of the dredge line, but still Hong Q's got the damage to finish off Tong Yuan. He's going to get traded on as the turret shots find their mark.
Over the wall. Okay, we're not going to watch the end of that, but going over the wall there, it resulted in a 1-for-1, so obviously wasn't bad in the end. This could be bad.
What a combo there from Hong Q. YCX able to get himself out of danger in time, but the Mega Inferno Bomb just dodged away from by YCX, but he gets hit by one more bouncing bomb. Too many threats to deal with. But it's LGD who are going to be the ones to start up on it first. Hong Q actually making his way down towards the bottom, so it will be a 4v4 over the objective, or so we believe. Sasa getting some combat started with Hong Q there, as it looks like much the same is happening up on the top side, but Hong Q at risk of getting solo killed. Sasa takes him down. Meanwhile, the Rift Herald falls the way of LGD. Tong Yuan and Xiaoyu have their fight line set up, but look at that damage coming through onto Hong. He's going to fall down in an instant, and YCX is going to have to bail out with the magical journey. Sasa's solo kill, though, makes this an LGD favored play all day long, baby.
Absolutely. The fact that they're able to just about limp away is going to be massive. You do lose a single member, not going to be the end to miss it there. Hui.
Yeah, the Dragon going to get worked on here by Hong. They will be able to finish it on off Q, and just barely manages to stay alive for now, but needs to avoid the last couple shots. Does do so, but JDG, they've bought the time, and Gala about to pick up a solo inner turret. This is a fat chunk of gold.
It really is. Using a tier 2, it keeps on happening.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of gold into Gala. The thing is, it is onto Gala, who is in a bit of a tough-to-play game, right? He's the lower range, though. Redemption to try to top himself back off as Xiaoshu coming in on the flank. Will get spotted by Xiaoyu. Xiaoyu caught by the entire team, cut off from the rest of everybody else. Junjia going to get worked on, but he pops the subjugate and will be able to stay alive. First member down is the Sivir. Xiaoyu already out of here. They try to chain CC onto Gala. They will be able to finish him off, but Junjia able to get a second kill for his efforts. Sasa in a 1 versus 3 over inside the Otacon pit, and that is not a fight that he's going to win, but Tong Yuan is still showing up and representing as he manages to execute the opposing team's jungler. Sasa trying to keep the fight going will finally be cut down by Xiaoshu, and now it is up to Hong and Tong Yuan to try to win this 2 versus 3, or at the very least stop the Otacon from going down. Xiaoshu will find one. Xiaoshu goes in onto both. Tong Yuan going to be able to immune it with the Black Shield, keeping Xiaoshu perhaps further up than he'd like to be. Hong Q continuing to rain through bombs, and everybody just says we don't want any more of this and tries to back on away.
And that has taken so long that Xiaoyu and YCX are going to respawn and head back out onto the map once again. Same thing for the JDG members that had fallen down, but it should at least be this Drake going over to LGD. It's messy, it's bloody, it's a bit of a weird one, but in the end, LGD, they actually come out with the objective.
And
themselves a catch onto Junjia, but who cares? Xiaoya has already died. Still, both of these teams potentially just gonna go for round 2. Most of the ultis have come back up and available, so this one should be another big brawl right here. No flank here for Sasa, though. This is a straight-up fight.
Yeah, he's just walking his way through Xiaozhu, and Xiaozhu is making him feel it, but they do manage to connect a binding on a Vampire, and that means Vampire's done for. Smite fight over the Otacon. Up next, an early smite from Junjia gives it right over to Hong, and LGD are now rocking the Otacon. Big redemption across all 5 members. It's Xiaozhu up in the front line, getting worked on. Big counter-strike across 3, locks down Gala and Hongqiu, but the turnaround damage onto Sasa is too much, and Xiaozhu is somehow staying alive in a 1 versus 3. Now he moves forward onto Hong, and the rest of LGD have got to try to cut their losses and get the hell out of here. But Hongqiu has finished another member in the form of Hong.
Wait, I'm not sure why Gala decided to go for that, but hey, I kind of respect it. Hang on. Picture in picture. This is just going to be the Baron
Tempered Fate stopping the Baron, who's at half HP. JDG trying to secure it for themselves. YCX is the only one here. Here come the reinforcements, but the Baron's falling lower and lower. 2K, 1K, smited down by Junjia, and JDG get the Baron buff. Now Xiaoshu looking for the engage on the opposite side, but a last whisper has been picked up for Xiaoya. Back through the magical journey to get himself back with the rest of the team, and that means that there's no more fight to be had. JDG commit highway robbery, and they're wearing purple.
This is just a crazy game, back and forth. The pace has really picked up right here in JDG. They're going to be moving on to this tier 2 tower in the mid lane. You've at least got Sasa pushing bot lane, so you've not got multiple lanes coming through. JDD, they won't be able to push fully forwards and grab themselves this tower, but they're just going to keep the pressure up and high.
Another binding.
Wait.
Now they're going to full send it on to Xiaoshu. They think they can finish him off. He falls down to about a quarter HP, and now he's basically out of the fight, but Hong going to be in the same category. Sasa TP's in, and these boomerang blades are being felt as they bounced over to Vampire, and we're able to take him to the ground. Xiaoshu now in the all-out form, going to get bound once again. Lands a big and Tofo strike through 3, but Hong will be able...
They had an inventory. They decide to keep pushing on forwards, and it wasn't small item breakpoints that they had on that reset. You have got that full death cap now completed onto Hongqiu that he didn't have previously.
Oh!
Tangyuan's just dead. Tangyuan is very dead. Not exactly the place he wanted to be.
You sure can. And that's what we're going to be trying to see. How much untargetability can be obtained there. You got the Tempered Fate to help you out. Xiaoya going to be forced on back here, trying to kite this one out. Xiaozhu going to be once again taking the brunt of the damage, and they're just going to choose to full send it onto him. Tempered Fate lands on it too. Xiaozhu left out all alone for quite a bit of time, and Sasa throws himself in. He thinks he can finish off Gala, but he's taking too much damage on the opposite side, has to go into the stasis, and Xiaoya was knocked back into the team. It's Hongqiu with the satchel charge, once again being the difference maker. Picks off Xiaoya, and the rest of LGD will crumble around him. JDG with 4.
They're going to punch their ticket right here into the finals. There's so very little that LGD can do. YCX going on his own little magical journey just to buy a little bit of extra time, but it will not matter in the end. The push is happening straight on through the mid lane. They don't need minion waves. They've got themselves a Ziggs. And it's one last desperate play out of LGD that's going to spell their doom.
10 seconds on Xiaoya, but it's just going to fall too fast. Trundle plus Ziggs doing what you pick them to do. The Nexus is exposed. Xiaoya is too little and too late. JDG will clean sweep this series and get themselves a date in finals with IG tomorrow.